Hey, what's up guys? It's Icarus, and today this is going to be a little bit different from most of my videos. I did a lot of weapon testing because I wanted to find what was the best possible weapon to use for point farming in Curse mode. Now, for any of you that may not know what Curse mode is, it's the mode in BO7 where it has the old point system. You spawn in with a pistol, and obviously you can do the relic challenges to unlock the relics, and then those relics will give you side effects or kind of like negative things will happen, such as no mystery box or no power-up drops, things in that kind of nature. But if you use a certain amount of relics, then you actually get a positive, like golden armor or Pack-a-Punch. Because it has the old point system, that means that you get 10 points for every time that you hit a zombie with a bullet, except for shotguns, which have pellets. But we'll get into that later. This means that weapons that are typically weaker or do a lot less damage become a lot more valuable, and they're known as point weapons. These point weapons used to be really obvious because back in the old games, there were very obvious issues with a lot of weapons, and a lot of weapons just wouldn't do that much damage in general. But now, a lot of the weapons they try to balance out the weapons. They try to make them very, very similar. And even though they work differently, they try to get the DPS and the overall damage close enough. So it makes it a lot harder to determine which is a good weapon and which isn't. So, knowing this, let's take a look at the cursed point farming spreadsheet. Now, if you've ever seen one of Donut's videos, I'm kind of using him as a base, I guess you could say copy, but I'm trying to take into heart what he does and kind of use it for my own thing. But I did actually get these damage numbers from him, so shout out to Donuts. If you haven't watched him, he makes the best breakdowns and just how things work and how things actually do interact with each other. He makes the best in-depth videos on those, so go check him out, obviously. But I mean, he's pretty popular, so I don't need to be giving anyone shout outs. But regardless, this is the cursed point farming spreadsheet. So it has all the weapons. These are the ARs, these are the SMGs, and so on with each weapon class. This is the amount of damage that each bullet of the gun does. This is the max amount of damage, though. This is tier 3 fully tier 3 Pack-a-Punch, not tier 4 because it's not cursed, so it can actually get higher, but it doesn't matter. The reason why I took these is because it's a trend. If this gun does more damage when it's fully packed, it will do more damage when they're both double packed, or do more damage when they're both not Pack-a-Punched. See what I mean? So even though these damage numbers are off from what you're going to be wanting to use, they're going to matter because it's a trend. I also have the ammos of them displayed because even though they're displayed as one thing in the menu, they're actually not the right amount in game, which I don't know why they did that. I don't know what the menu is based on. It might be off of a different game mode or something, but I don't know where that quite comes from. But regardless, this is the amount of ammo that each has. And the reason why this matters is because if you're point farming, you're going to be using all your ammo a lot. You're going to be cycling through rounds and having to buy ammo back for your weapon over and over and over again until you're satisfied with the amount of points you have, right? What we're going to want to do, it has all the normal ammos, and like I said, this is also a trend. Although this one is not quite the same because you can get a lot more. For example, the carbon gets almost 3 times the amount on Pack-a-Punch, whereas most guns get about double, as you can see here. But if that does change a lot, then the second ammo mag will be similar. If it holds more ammo here, it's going to hold more in the Pack-a-Punch as well. So this should be all we need to really test it. So what I did is I looked through to see which guns did the most damage, because we're going to want to stay away from those, right? So I ranked them. This one does the most damage, so this is 1. This does second most, this is 2, and so on. 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. Then I looked at the ammo counts, and whatever one had the highest ammo count, I gave that the highest. So as the Maddox has 400, that's the most ammo count, it goes here. So basically, what we want to look for is this category. We're looking at what gun has a small left side number and a big right side number. If it has a small left number, that means it does a little amount of damage for the category. But if it has a high right side number, it means it has high ammo. So you want the gun with the most amount of ammo and the least amount of damage. I took the standouts from all these categories and I put them all right here. So these are the standout weapons. What I did is the same thing that we did before. I put all of these next to each other. I rank them from damage. So going down, up has the most damage, and going down has the least damage. And then on this side here, these are how they rank in ammo counts. As I mentioned before, shotguns use pellets. Each pellet does 10 damage. This is unlike how it used to be in COD, where each time you shoot, it would give you 10 points. Now each pellet gives you 10 points. The Echo 12 has 6 pellets to my counting, and the Akita has 4. So what you can do is times both of these numbers, well, times this one by 4 and times this one by 6, which I don't even want to do the math, but you get what I mean. They are all very similar in ammo counts to these, but they do more damage. So what do we do from here, right? This is all hypothetical. Well, I actually took some guns into testing. Guns had a chance to be the best. So, as you can see, the normal Akita only gets you about 5,850 per round. This is because the normal Akita, as shown before, has not the greatest ammo count. Oh, this one. It's not the best ammo count, and you're probably going to miss a lot of shots anyway. But if you use the dual Akita, then it starts you off with 200 ammo. And that 200, remember, it's all times by 4, so that's essentially 800 times that you're going to be hitting them for every time that you refill ammo, which is very, very good. But I was actually surprised. I thought the Echo would be second, and it's a very close second, but it's not quite as good as the Raiden. This is one match of testing. However, in my testing, I didn't pick up any power-up drops. I didn't do anything to earn extra points. I didn't do anything to take away points. This was just the amount of points that I got in like playing one game and watching my point score. This is what I got per round, and the Raiden was just slightly above. So if you still want to use the Echo, I totally understand. I think it's very similar, but I would say the Akita is probably the best, which you may be saying, okay, how would you rank them? Just give me a full list and I'll know what to use. So here you go. I think the Akita is the best of all, but you have to be using either the prestige attachment or actually no, it was a weekly challenge, I believe. Use the weekly challenge that turns it into a dual belt fed, because that will give you 200 ammo and it will also let you fire it a lot quicker. You will have to watch out for the belt feed and make sure you don't overheat it, but it is the absolute GOAT. It is the best for point farming. This is my weapon build to use it. If you have all the attachments unlocked, this is the build I'd recommend, and I have builds for most of these. These I didn't really bother because they're not that great. I have builds for almost all of them. I don't have for the Rev because it's a new weapon, and speaking of the Rev, you actually can't get it in Cursed because it's a DLC weapon. So I think you'll have to wait either until Reloaded or until the next season to be able to use it. But once you can use it, I would say it's statistically very good. I haven't actually tried it, so statistically it's good, but we'll have to actually see how it is in game with more testing. But the Echo 12 I would still put above the Raiden because I think I wasn't using the best possible build for it. I didn't have more ammo equipped where I did with the Raiden, and that test was a little bit skewed. I would still put the Echo as very, very good, and I think it can rival the Akita, but just it's not quite as good. But of all the normal guns in the game, not counting shotguns, that you can actually use right now, I would say the Raiden is the best. Not only because it's off the wall, but it also has, as we see here, a pretty good ammo count, especially, yeah, it's number 1 in ammo count, especially when it's pack-a-punched, it goes up even more. It goes to 720, which matches with the Carbon, which was the other one that had high ammo. It's 60 above those when pack-a-punched, and it also is 30 above these, 50 above the Carbon. So non-pack-a-punched, it still has a lot more ammo than the rest of its competitors, which is why I have it above those here. As the Razor, it does fire faster, so if you're going for overall speed, and also the Razor does less damage, so the Razor is very good, but the Raiden is off the wall, and I just find it more consistent. I would use this build, but the only thing that I say you have to put on all of these weapons is the FMJ rounds. Make sure that you're putting on the FMJ rounds, because using the FMJ will allow you to hit multiple enemies with one bullet, which will give you a lot more points with each bullet, obviously, and just a lot more points in general. Next up is the Maddox. This is the highest of the ARs because it has the most ammo. As we see here, it has the most ammo, and so if you're starting the game, I think that this one's decent, although it does do a little bit higher of damage than you would want. Early game, maybe you don't want it. Maybe like mid rounds, like 12 through 20. Maybe I would say use the Maddox because it has a lot of ammo and it would be cheaper, you know, than having to fill up these two. But if you're on a later round and you're going to pack a punch at one time, then it doesn't matter which of the ARs you choose. But I'd have the just above the carbon, because with the carbon, you kind of have to pack a punch it for it to be effective, as we talked about before. It has 250 originally, but then it goes all the way up to 720, which is great, obviously. But when you're starting off, 250 is pretty low ammo. Like with the ARs, I would not recommend using these ones unless you are on a round where you can pack a punch it without doing too much damage that you're actually killing. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but obviously you are going to be wanting to aim for low body or legs because you want to be doing less damage than hitting headshots, obviously. So make sure you are aiming low at them. Make sure you are trying to aim them in a way that you can penetrate through them and hit multiple with one bullet. Next, let's get into the Coda. I thought the Coda was actually decent. It is a pistol and it is on the wall in Ashes. It's not on the wall in Astra, I don't think. I think that's the Jaeger, but it is on the wall in Ashes. So you could theoretically get it off the wall. My issue with it is it has still low ammo and it does a lot of damage. So you'd think with the pistol that it would do less damage, but it actually doesn't. It does more damage than any AR or SMG in these categories. So I would say usually stay away from the Coda unless, like I said before, those mid rounds where you can kind of get away with having more damage. Then I would say it's okay from like 15 to 20. But there's just all these weapons I would say use above that. These two, while they do decently, I would just say don't really use them. The M8 is, I think, only got for box. I think same with this, well, the so-called DLC. So obviously that one's only on the box. I would say don't bother with these. Probably, honestly, with these or these. These two, I would say you can use once it gets to like around 20 plus. But these just don't even bother with. And honestly, I would say like with all these, from the Maddox down, I would probably stay away from because these are just going to be better for you. So in general, everyone loves the Akita. Everyone knows the Akita. It's the GOAT for a reason. But if you're getting bored of using the Akita, which I found myself being, or if you just can't get the Akita, which it's on the wall in both the maps so far, but if it's not on the wall in the next map, don't worry about it, because if the Echo's on the wall, like it is in Ashes, or if the Raiden's on the wall, like it is in Ashes, then you'll be totally fine. Or if the Razor is, because they put the Carbon in Astra, so maybe they'll put the Razor in the next map, in Paradox Junction. So do not worry if you can't use the Akita, because the Echo, the Raiden, and the Razor are very, very good replacements. So in general, I would just say stick to the Akita when you can, but don't be worried to switch it up. I hope this video helped. This is the first video that I'm making that's kind of this style. Let me know if there's anything else that you would like me to go into or test. This is not my usual, but I can give it a shot if it's something that everyone wants to see. I'm hoping that people like this video. If you did like it, then showing your support down below with a like or subscribing to the channel would be very, very good. I really appreciate everyone who does. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.